You're on tour with Nickelback,
Mm-hmm.
and not for the first time,
No.
promoting your new album, Sittin Heavy. That's a nice arena out there, right?
Yeah.
Have you been in there? You just arrived, right?
Yeah, I think one of the first things I like to do when we get here is just to kind of go into where they're building the stage and kind of just take a look around and see what the deal is.
Yeah.
You know, we've been on the road with them now for a couple weeks, and we're just getting used to the big rooms and the big arenas, and they're all similar and all very different from each other as well.
Okay. And I kind of have to ask that because Nickelback in Germany was very big at one point, and they still sell out the arenas, but do you get a different vibe from the crowds here that as opposed to other European cities?
Yeah, it seems like every country is a little bit different. This is our second German show. We played Munich last night, and otherwise, we're still not sure what the German Nickelback crowd is like. But there's a lot of them. Yeah, they were really good last night. So hopefully it continues.
Great, cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the album. You went with Eric Ratz again,
Mm-hmm.
and you used 2 studios in Toronto and your own jam space.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a little bit how you did that?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of things that, you know, or at least the main thing that people like to focus on for using the really high-end studios for is the drums.
Mm-hmm.
So we picked a really top-notch studio called Revolution in Toronto to do the drums. We got all the drum tracks done, and then we just kind of chipped away at the rest of it in our own spot. And guitar and bass and vocals is very easy to kind of set up a really high-quality rig in your own space. And I mean, we picked away at it all over the place. We ended up doing more drums at Vespa in Toronto, and like I said, we did all the guitars and bass and vocals and organs in our spot, which was great. And it was also kind of got a little too comfortable. We weren't pushing ourselves as hard because we knew we weren't on the clock. It wasn't costing us, you know, $800 a day or whatever. So it was kind of, you know, it was, you take the good with the bad, and you know, we saved a lot of money and have our own place now to record. You know, demos and additional stuff for albums, but at the same time we also didn't have that pressure to force us to finish on time.
Right, and you only did it once as opposed to the last album, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes.
All right. And I read somewhere that you were almost done, and then you also talked to the label, and you added one more writing session.
Yeah, I think we did. I think we redid one song, and then we.
For the people.
We did 4 new songs.
Oh,
'Cause
alright.
what did we have on the first one? Maybe only 10 tracks. On the we did 10, and then we knew we'd write some more, and
Yeah. I mean, we always like to have too much. You know, it's nice to have like B-side content, and it also allows us to make sure that the record itself is as strong as possible. Then we ended up finishing up with, after the second session, with like 15 songs. And, you know,
It has a great flow to it, right?
Yeah, thanks. That's another thing that we really focus on a lot with our albums is we like it to make sense from beginning to end. And it's, you know, to have the first song be the kind of song that, you know, starts a record off fantastic, and kind of to have a last song that kind of puts it to bed. And we did that with Curiosity, and I think we'll probably end up doing it with our next record too. And the easiest way to do that is just to write too much and whittle it down to, you know, the best stuff.
Congratulations on being on the NHL 17 soundtrack.
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
I'm very excited about it.
You play a lot, right?
I play that game religiously.
You too?
no, I don't.
Okay.
I'm the only video gamer in the band, really.
Okay.
And that's almost the only game I play. And it just came out 2 weeks ago,
Right.
and I haven't played it. I played the beta like 2 months ago, and I liked it. But we see we're doing this. There's no time for video games, so.
So when you play, is your favorite player in the game usually you take your favorite player, or do you just pick the best one?
No, the mode that I play, you get to be yourself.
Right.
So I just make my character look like me, and I play right defense for my team. And yeah, it's just Jeremy Waterman, number 17, worst player on the team.
Okay. All right. But in general, you would be rooting for Toronto or
Montreal.
Montreal.
The other 2 guys, Steve and Marv, they both cheer for Toronto.
Okay.
And he's a Canucks fan.
Okay.
But
I like any teams really.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a fan of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you also said that please ignore what everybody else thinks. I mean, that's also a little bit what I suppose becoming a successful artist means to oneself personally.
I think it's the starting point.
Yeah.
I think it's a great starting point to just be very focused on, to a selfish level, of what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and what you want to hear coming out of, you know, your speakers. If you can be in complete control of that without letting other people's kind of expectations or influences, you know, take you to somewhere you don't want to go, that's a great starting point for any band or artist to, you know, really just be honest with themselves and start from a place of truth.
You just said that you just started playing the organ shortly before you joined the band.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's at what point kind of do you say, gee, you know, I started playing organ for fun, but now all of a sudden, you know, we're selling records and I'm in a band. I'm an artist. I'm in Keyboard Magazine. You know. What kind
Yeah,
of,
I haven't been in Keyboard Magazine yet.
we have to change.
See,
that.
I mean, maybe I'm hard on myself, but I'm also not technically very good at all. But I also don't think that matters very much. There's so many other elements to being in a band. It's not
Especially
just
nowadays.
about chops. Like we're still very tuned into the business ways of the band and the marketing ways of the band, and you know, there's so many other elements to being in a band than playing the keyboard.
It's,
you know,
and again, with that being the case, it's almost, I mean, it's a good thing for us because we're very aware of everything that it takes to be in a successful band nowadays, because we do all those jobs, a lot of those jobs. But it's almost a bad thing too, because there's all kinds of super talented, creative individuals who have absolutely zero, you know, business savvy or logistical savvy, where they get left behind because record labels nowadays don't have the ability to take chances on artists who are kind of unable to promote themselves, unable to book their own shows, their own tours. They all, you know, the music industry is very focused on finding artists that are already kind of on their way and kind of helping them from that point on.
Yeah.
Whereas I think a lot of, back in the day, in the 70s and 60s and even into the 80s, you had bands that were just, had promise. They were, you know, 5 young guys.
development deal.
Yeah,
you know?
and they
I
just,
like
that
that.
does, yeah, that doesn't happen anymore, because they just can't sign 10 bands to development deals on the hopes that one gets massive now.
Yeah.
They want to wait until they see those 10 bands kind of find their way and get to a point where they are proving that they can take care of finances, they can make their own merch designs, they can release their own records, they can book their own shows, maybe book their own tours, and basically keep control of it from that angle, because there's just not enough resources available in the music industry right now to support these people who can't support themselves. And so, you know, that's kind of where we flourished early, which was that we were making waves on our own. And of course, anytime a record label or management company or booking agency sees that kind of potential from a band that's got songs, can release records, and can take care of themselves, you're already kind of a couple steps ahead there.
Anything else you want to add? Spotify, maybe.
I think a lot of people have a lot of opinions about streaming stuff. I just don't care. I like it. I don't like it. I love it. It works. It doesn't work. It's so quickly evolving and changing that even anything I say right now could be completely irrelevant in 3 months.
Yeah.
And we've experienced a lot of support through being able to just compete our music online, whether illegally streaming, selling digital copies, and I think it's all good. And
Yeah, personally, I love it.
Yeah.
I
use it.
I mean, there's a couple little ways that the programs work, and when you update your phone, you lose everything that you downloaded, and that's a pain in the ass. But whatever. I mean, it's still so great. I love so many kinds of music, and it's all right there for me. And like, as far as the band goes, we never ever expected to make any money from the sale of our music. We feel it's just a promotional piece to get people to come to the concerts,
Right.
which is where we try to make we do make our money. So.
Yeah.
kind of resigning ourselves to that idea. We're early on in the band, which is why we gave away all of our first EPs for free online anyways. Allows us the freedom to not have to be too concerned about it. And again, I think it's one of those revenue streams that only really becomes a tangible amount of money when you've already made it. And we're still kind of in the middle, so
Yeah.
it's...
Until we'll start reevaluating that opinion if we ever get to a level where we feel we should be getting paid for album sales.